My parents handed everything to my sister like I was invisible. They thought silence meant surrender. But they didn't know I'd already moved every piece quietly. When she finally opened the letter I left behind, she screamed just for words. "You're joking, right?" My father didn't hesitate. He slid the folder across the table and said my sister's name like it was destiny already fulfilled. No build-up. No discussion. My mother nodded, slow and certain, sealing the decision. I placed the house keys beside the folder. Then the power of attorney. The sound echoed sharper than anyone expected. Still, no one spoke. They mistook my calm for defeat. I grew up in long hallways that smelled of disinfectant and old flowers. While other kids learned how to play, I learned how to push wheelchairs without hitting corners. My father walked ahead of me back then, confident, admired while I followed quietly. Fixing what needed fixing, my sister Lena never followed anyone. She was framed, lifted, celebrated. My mother dressed her up for pictures that said future in bold letters. I was usually in the background holding papers, wiping a counter half cropped out. Even childhood felt split by policy. Lena had lessons, camps, trips, meant to unlock potential. I had responsibilities. Independence, they called it. As if it were a gift, not a requirement. When Lena struggled at school, tutors appeared. When I earned top grades, I got a nod expected. Her birthdays were spectacles. Mine were reminders to head to work early. At 16, I covered evening shifts. Not because I wanted to, but because bills don't wait for childhood. I never blamed Lena. She didn't build the system. She just benefited from it by adulthood. The pattern was set. Lena left for the city, chasing creative dreams my parents praised endlessly. Her calls home usually meant money. They always sent it. Then my parents got sick. Regulations tightened. Staff left. Suddenly, brilliance meant nothing, but reliability meant everything. That's when I became essential. At 2 in the morning, on a cracked hospital chair, I signed authority papers while machines hummed softly. "You're good with serious things," my mother whispered. It wasn't praise. It was confirmation of my assignment. I ran the place. Every inspection, every crisis, every night call. Years passed like that. And then, quietly, the tide shifted. Emails stopped including me. Meetings happened without my name. One photo arrived on my phone, Lena smiling in front of the building sign. Caption, "Future Leadership." That was when I understood I wasn't being replaced because I failed. I was being replaced because I was convenient. I didn't confront them. I didn't warn them. I simply let them keep talking while I prepared to step away forever. That night, I stood in my parents' kitchen while they talked around me. My father spoke to Lena about vision and expansion. My mother nodded proudly. No one asked my opinion. When they finally noticed me, my father smiled thinly. "You've done enough of the hard stuff. Let your sister take over now." Peanut seeds. That's what they called my life's work. Later, I found the folder financial plans in Lena's handwriting. Numbers wrong. Assumptions reckless. Yet initials covered the pages. Approval granted without understanding. I didn't argue. I didn't fix a single error. Instead, I went upstairs and opened a blank document. I created a timeline, 10 years condensed in 2. Bullet points. Emergencies, investigations, near shutdowns. Every moment I held the system together while everyone else looked away. Then I listed what truly mattered. Licenses, compliance frameworks, partnerships. Protocols that lived in my head, refined by experience, not theory. At dawn, I drove to Dr. Hale's office. He read everything in silence, weighed it like truth should be weighed. "You don't need revenge," he said. "You need structure." By the end of the week, I was working with an attorney who understood systems, not emotions. She explained it simply. Buildings don't matter. Names don't matter. Control follows capability. So we built a foundation not for ownership, but for protection. A framework that safeguarded the work itself. I named it Harbor Bridge. Quiet, steady, necessary. Using authority my parents forgot they gave me. I transferred everything that actually made the facility function. Not property power, They signed advisory roles happily, thinking it was routine paperwork. When it was done, I went back to work like nothing had changed and let them plan their celebration. They thought the legacy dinner would crown a leader. They had no idea it was about to expose the truth beneath everything. The night before the celebration, I wrote the letter. Not angry, not dramatic, clear. I explained what Lena was inheriting and what she wasn't. A title without a system. Responsibility without infrastructure. A role she'd never trained for. On the day of the event, the room glowed with confidence. Glasses clinked. Applause lingered. My father announced her future like a victory already secured. When the applause ended, I stood. I placed 3 things on the table. The keys. The power of attorney. The red envelope. Lena opened the letter. Her smile faded. Pages turned quickly. Her breath caught. "You're joking," she said. My father grabbed the papers. His face strained. My mother scanned frantically. An attorney finally spoke. Calm. Precise. Everything in the letter was accurate. The licenses. The system. The operating backbone. None of it belonged to them anymore. Lena stared at me, disbelief cracking her perfect posture. "Then what did they just give me?" "Buildings," the attorney said gently, "and debt." Silence swallowed the room. I didn't shout. I didn't explain further. I simply stepped back. I walked out while they were still trying to understand. By morning, the consequences had already started. The silence afterward wasn't painful. It was unfamiliar. No emergency calls. No responsibility dumped quietly at my feet. At Harbor Bridge. Morning light filled the halls. Life continued, steady, protected. Weeks later, I saw my parents waiting in an insurance office. They didn't notice me walking past. I didn't stop. A month after that, I saw Lena again, this time pushing a wheelchair carefully. Learning what work actually means. I let her have that moment. There was no victory speech. No apology. Just boundaries. Families break loudly, but healing happens quietly. For the first time. Filing something that wasn't mine. Sometimes silence isn't weakness. It's the sound of freedom finally settling in.